For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. It is February 10th, 2017, if you're tuning in on Friday. If not, it's another day. I did the math on that one by myself. Thank you very much. Today, we've got lots to talk about. The Grammys are handed out on Sunday. I'll talk about the celebrity, not backlash, the exodus. Celebrities don't care for the Grammys as much as they did back in the day. Give you some Valentine's cheapskate tips, because you know I am a best-selling cheapskate author, and some creative ways that you can spend your Valentine's Day, and you can do it right up until the last minute. That's how great things are. And also, food delivery. I've experienced food delivery, not like pizza delivery, but you know those websites where you order and then just some random like Uber driver brings you the food. I'll tell you about my experience with that. And just lots of fun stuff to talk about today. And also, on our radio show a few weeks ago, Kathie Gifford and Hoda Kotb from NBC's Today Show surprised me. They called in to talk to my dog. Can you believe it? Yes. I've hosted the show for 11 years. It'll be this spring. And they call for my dog, Ernie, to wish him a happy birthday. I'm going to play you that audio coming up in just a little bit. So it's a jam-packed show, lots going on, and we're going to get into it right after this.
Airfares go up and down more than planes themselves. Pricearazzi.travel has you covered when flight prices change on Expedia.com. If the prices drop, you'll be sure to know about it. There's already so much to remember when you travel, and you shouldn't have to worry about paying more than you needed to on your flights. Let Pricearazzi.travel keep an eye on that for you. Your biggest concern should be if you've packed enough money to buy all the trinkets you really don't need, or if your swimsuit shows off enough skin in all the right places, or that while you are away, the kids have enough food in the kennel and that the dogs get to school on time. Wait, flip those last two. Simply register your email address with Pricearazzi.travel and then book your flights on Expedia.com. Your itineraries are automatically sent to Pricearazzi, and you could do your happy dance if the flight becomes cheaper in 24 hours. Better yet, you could actually end up flying for free. And who doesn't love free, right? Find out how to save on your Expedia flights at Pricearazzi.travel. Avoid bank account turbulence and sign up now at Pricearazzi.travel.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. As I mentioned, it's Grammy weekend. I'm live tweeting the Grammys on Sunday night. Follow along at Jeremy D. Bradley, Jeremy, the letter D, and then Bradley, Bradley. And, you know, I'm not one of those people. Award show season is very awkward because it's like anybody who's watching the awards show will then become a reporter and start telling you that so-and-so just won such and such. And that's all you get. So depending on who you follow, you could every second or third tweet be seeing, you know, Brad Pitt takes home Best Actor, so-and-so takes home, and it's just like, oh my god, it's enough already. And so it's a total spoiler alert, by the way. If you are not watching and you plan on watching it later, you don't even want to tune into Twitter because it's ruined for you at that point. But my tweets, when I do live tweeting of TV shows, you know, Celebrity Apprentice, Bachelor, and the awards, is sarcasm. That is what I do best. That's my claim to fame, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that we need a bit more comedy in today's world, don't we? Because everything is always just so offensive, or everybody's offended by everything. That's a better way to say it. And so, you know, and people they'll tell me like, oh, that was cruel. Oh, that was harsh. Oh, that was unnecessary. It's jokes, and we need to laugh. You know what? I am not one of those people who every 2 hours has to tweet about President Trump. I don't. But I see all of you guys doing it. I see all of you who do it. And I, it's sad. You got 4 years of high blood pressure coming to you. So anyway, so the Grammys. this used to be a big show back in the day where you'd get there, your album sales would skyrocket, you wanted to perform on the Grammy stage, that was a huge honor. And now it seems like the celebs are kind of checking out and they don't really want to. So there's a few reasons why people suspect this is happening. And one is music artists, a lot of them, are a little bit different. They don't care if they win an award. They want the album sales. They want the concert to sell out. They want all those things. And they don't relate a Grammy win to that. They can't make that connection. And so, do they necessarily need the trophy saying that they're the best artist? Well, no, because you look at the sales of it, and that's really what determines it. These awards aren't voted on by the public. Your record label or the artist or somebody has to submit the song, and then you win based on those ones that are submitted. So it's not like a People's Choice Awards where the people are given the option and then they pick who the winner is. That might make a little bit of a difference for them, but I don't know. But, you've got the big names, Justin Bieber, who is sort of the Susan Lucci of the Grammys. He went how many years without winning one? And just a bunch of other artists that don't plan on going. And so, they feel that the Grammys are sort of outdated. This is kind of an old show. But when you look at some of the other award shows, like the VMAs on like MTV and things like that, that's a little bit different. They are interested in going to shows like that because it's more of a younger, not so formal and uptight kind of a show or event anyway. And so the Grammys seem to be sort of not very popular with the artists. But again, they do love going to the younger ones because that's the audience that's watching and going to the concerts and buying the albums and downloading. On CBS, where the average viewer is, in the triple digits, not necessarily appealing for somebody like Justin Bieber or other thugs and gangster rappers and artists like that. So that's a bit of education. If you're wondering why on Grammy night you're not going to see some of your favorite up-and-coming artists there. Now, actually, that's not true. Some of the up-and-coming artists will be there because they'll take any platform they can get and they'll be happy with that. And so it's a little bit different but for the veterans who aren't necessarily there. Though I hear Beyonce, just announced the pregnancy with twins, is front and center, so you're going to see Beyonce there as well. You might not see her at Coachella, depending on how the pregnancy comes along, but she will be at the Grammys, they say. We're also going to talk about Valentine's Day, because that's just a few days away, and some ways that you can, warm your partner's heart and not have to empty your wallet. Some more about that right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and usually, and I'm saying usually, the onus, and that's onus, not anus, is on the man, if it's a male-female relationship, or if it's two males, I guess it would be on the man for that one, but usually the onus in a male-female relationship is that it's on the guy to go out and get the flowers for the woman, right? Because many men will not want flowers from their partner, and that's fine. I enjoy flowers, I will never turn them away. But it's certainly come a long way because Valentine's Day now, much like Christmas, is commercial. And that's nothing new. It has been like that for many years. But I've got some cheapskate tips from my best-selling book. It's called The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate. You can also get The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate. Same book, different name. And I've got a chapter in there about Valentine's Day. So here are some ideas. And these are just... The whole book, by the way, is not even like... I'm not a financial planner, I'm not a money advisor, I'm not anything like that. I've got my hands on my head as though I've got a headache. For some reason, I just started to go into a rant there. But it's just the creative things that you can do to save money. And I certainly don't go and say, hey, do everything in this book and you can save $5,000 a year. That's not the point of the book. But when it comes to Valentine's Day, here's the thing. You don't need to go out and get the very, very expensive flowers the day of. You know what you can do? Go to the dollar store, get some tissue paper and some pipe cleaners, and make a bouquet of flowers. Here's why this is going to go over better. Because it's going to show that you took the time and the creative energy to make that bouquet. It's not like you just ran to the store, you waited in line at Safeway, and you spent $30 on flowers that are going to die tomorrow. Here's what you can do, is you can go, make up some flowers, put them in a vase if you have one, vase, vase, however you want to pronounce it, and you can spray them with your partner's perfume or cologne or some, fragrance or scent that maybe they like, or maybe even your own to give it a feeling of you, right? It's got your scent on it. And give a dozen flowers that way. Here's the interesting thing. Last year what I did was I looked, and on Valentine's Day, I was able to get 4 roses, not 4 dozen, 4 roses for $20. The day after Valentine's Day, I was able to get 4 dozen for $20. They were $5 a dozen just the day after Valentine's Day. So maybe, here's what you can do, is you can celebrate Valentine's Day on the weekend, because everything from Valentine's Day will be half price potentially at that point. But at the same time, do something creative that shows your affection, shows your love, right? You've taken that extra time, you put in that brain power rather than just saying, hey, you know what, he or she is expecting flowers, so I better go and get them. Another thing you can do, rather than going out for an expensive dinner, and I know the restaurant industry is going to hate me for this, but you know what? Do some sexy cooking at home. Maybe strip down and cook, in the kitchen naked. And if you're doing something on the stove or anything, you might want to cover your bits, because I don't want to have any lawsuits saying that you scalded yourself in the privates because you took my advice. But have a bit of fun, right? If you're make pizza or something and do, the pizza sauce is red, right? So, paint, chest paint your partner if you want. And just have a bit of fun like that. Another thing you can do, this is really cool, is that depending on where you live, if there's snow, go out and just make a snowman, or, just run and jump in the snow, or get super hot in the shower, and then go and run and jump into the snow, and then run back into the shower, almost like a polar bear plunge kind of thing. One other idea that you can get from the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate, is just have a bit of fun. If you've been together for a long time, one of the things you can do is go through your pictures. How many selfies have you taken over the years that you've probably posted once and then never looked at again? Depending on how many comments it got from your friends on social media, maybe you have seen it over and over again. But, do something creative for your partner. If it's the time together is one thing, but if you have to get them a gift or you have to do something, do that. Make a slideshow. Put some music to it. Maybe your first song you dance to, right? A lot of couples have their song. Put together a slideshow to the music and, surprise them that way. Just do something. Now, don't do what one of my relatives did. I'm not going to name her, but my cousin knows who she is, and I'm guessing she's not listening to this, so I'm okay to say this. On her first anniversary, and you kind of think that would be sort of like a Valentine's Day. I hope that people are still sort of in their honeymoon period after their first Valentine's together. Her and her husband went to a hotel, and they had, like a hot tub in the room and whatever, and she was posting pictures on social media of him on the bed with the remote control watching television. When I say he was on the bed, they weren't doing anything sexy. She took a picture of him watching TV. There was another picture of her eating a bag of those little, like those cinnamon donuts that you can get at carnivals sometimes. There's a picture of her in the room with a bottle of wine eating donuts. And then there was a post then on social media that, he was having a bath, and I think she was watching a movie or something. And I just thought, wow, how do you keep the magic alive? That is so sad to me. I'm sorry, if that was why are we together? What is the purpose of this relationship if we're not even going to spend our first anniversary? They went, and they didn't go anywhere. It was a hotel in the city. But for some reason they wanted to get away. They didn't have kids at the time, so I don't really know what it was about. But anyway, so that's not how to keep the magic alive, I wouldn't think anyway. But certainly there's different ways that you can be creative and have a good Valentine's Day and save some money. You can get the book at cheapskatebook.com, cheapskatebook.com, or you can look it up on Amazon and iTunes and download the book, because it's just different things that you can do throughout the course of the year to save you money. So if you like to travel, if you have pets, if you want to cut costs about home heating in the winter, if you want to have a cheap Halloween and Christmas, there's lots of great things. So cheapskatebook.com, look it up, The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate, or The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here, back on the Scribble. See, I know you're not even paying attention anymore. Your brain is going a mile a minute thinking about how you can have a special Valentine's Day that's not going to cost you very much. You know, my book, as I've mentioned several times, it's worth repeating. The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com is also a video series in the Winnipeg Free Press. And for 2 Valentine's Days, we did a video segment about these types of tips that I've given you. And so I'm not usually one to read the comments that are posted online, but for some reason, I just figured, what the hell, why not? And there were a couple guys who said, oh yeah, that's exactly what she wants is, a cheapskate. And, it's like, but when you think about it, logically, maybe you can actually save the $40 on flowers and get something that's actually going to be worth something, a little bit more than 3-4 days of love, right? Maybe you could, I don't know, donate it to something, maybe her favorite cause, or you could even just do something special with it rather than buying a plant that's going to die. Those tissue paper roses don't die. They don't. Unless you put them in the dishwasher, they tend to get a little bit ruined that way. So on our radio shows, Top of the Charts and The Open Road, we often, almost every week, have celebrity guests. This past week, we've had Matt Eisman from Celebrity Apprentice, and a couple weeks ago, as I mentioned, it was my dog's birthday, and so Kathie Gifford and Hoda Kotb from The Today Show decided to call in and crash the show, basically. And it's something that we do on that I don't really know why. It's funny, I guess, to listen to. So they were surprise guests. We've got the clip for you, because if you didn't hear the radio show, we want you to hear it anyway. Here's the clip of Kathie and Hoda joining me on the radio. All right, let's go to the celebrity phone, because it's actually blinking a bunch of different colors today. Hello, you're on the air. Hi, who is this?
Hi, Jeremy. It's Kathie Lee and Hoda from New York.
Okay. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Great. We don't really want to talk to Jeremy, though. We don't want to hurt your feelings or anything, but we really aren't interested in you.
Okay.
But we really would love to invite Ernie. We hear he's the greatest party animal in the world. We heard it was his birthday, and we thought it would be fun to have him come and help us celebrate with our dogs, Bambino and Blake, on the 65th anniversary of the Today Show. Is he around? Is he available?
He's sleeping right now, but he probably heard you. He probably woke up when he heard you just now, so we'll send our love. So wait a second, 65th, I thought, of the Today Show, Kathie Lee, I thought that it was a high school reunion, no?
Who can remember high school? We blacked out through high school.
Sure.
Hoda was very busy with the football team. Hey!
But 65 years of the Today Show. Now let me think about this. I was born 30 years into its run. You too, right, Hoda?
Yeah, exactly. I was born 30 years into its run, plus 20 years.
Okay.
I'm just glad something's older than I am. Yeah.
So obviously you ladies like to party and have a good time. So what makes a good party, though? Is it the food? Is it the drinks? Kathie Lee, I feel this is a chance for you to hawk some wine products. What makes a good party?
I'd never do such a thing.
No? Okay.
As encourage people to taste the greatest wine that's ever been made at an affordable price called Gift. I wouldn't do such a thing. That would be unseemly.
No.
It would be terrible for her to explain that it comes in a Pinot and a red blend and a Chardonnay and a Rosé and coming out with a white blend. Yeah, and the L-T-I-F-F. Yeah, it's got 2 F's. Yeah, but we wouldn't do that because it's not savory. Or classy, which we at all times endeavor to be. Burp.
Always. Okay, so what makes a good party? Is it the food, the music, the drinks? What do you look forward to?
Well, it is, but it also has to be the music. Yeah, we totally agree on what kind of music we like. No, but we do agree that the best parties in the world are gift wine with Kathie Lee CDs playing in the background. Somebody shoot me!
Oh, my.
If only I could cook, it would be a trifecta. We'll do it on Thanksgiving. That's the only day I cook the entire year. Is that it, Jeremy?
I think, yeah.
Do you have more questions, sweetie?
I think we're out of time. No, but let's get serious, though. 65 years on TV, the Today Show, that's a really long time. Lots of things have happened in the world, right? We have everything from Olympics and royal weddings and babies, sadly, terrorist attacks, and I guess, sadly, presidential elections. But the Today Show, been there for all of it, right?
Somehow it's and I think the thing that makes the show work is that whatever you're going through, if you turn on the show, you sort of see familiar faces kind of guiding you through it. And I think that that's what you look for, because you can get news a million places. You just want to feel kind of comforted. Yeah.
Not that Al Roker makes anybody comfortable, let's be honest.
Al is crazy. Yeah.
Or, we're all a little crazy. You got to be a little crazy to keep these hours and put up with, some days you're interviewing Glenn Close 1 minute and the next thing you're in a hot tub with a camel. It defies description at times.
Those are just...
Not a camel.
Or did you say camel toe?
Wow.
I apologize for Hoda.
Wow.
She used to be Dateline Hoda. Now she's Happy Hour Hoda, and it's, boy, what a change.
I was going to say, we just keep hearing more about your parties that you guys have.
Is that the sound of laughter we're not hearing?
Talk about the two of you working together, because as you say, it's always a good time. Crazy is the word you used. And you start out the hour, there's big glasses of water on the desk. Whose idea was that?
That wasn't ours. That happened early when I came to the show because Chelsea Handler was on, and she had just had a book come out called Hello Chelsea. No, Hello Vodka.
Yeah.
Me, Chelsea. Thank you, Hoda. And our producers thought it would be funny to have all these vodka cocktails prepared for her. We did the segment. It went well. It was great. We forgot all about it till the next week. Brooke Shields shows up the next week and says, "Where's my cocktail?" And then people like what's this name? Joel McHale came with his own bottle of Hennessy.
Yeah.
And it just took on a life of its own. Like we were the happy hour of the Today Show.
Jerry went from being a stagehand to being a bartender.
Yes. Yes, the producers started saying, well, put a glass of wine up there. And nobody said anything. We were kind of surprised.
Our management wasn't watching our show. Thank God. For probably 2 years.
The good news is they still aren't. They're bigger fish to fry.
Yes.
Well, now you do get to do a lot of fun things, meet a lot of people. What's been a moment that stands out in your mind? Hoda, I'm guessing oiling up an Olympian.
Oh my gosh, I was never going to hear the end of that.
She's oiled up a whole lot of
Oh
people.
my God, Mr. Fiji. Okay, who wasn't going to oil him up? He needed a little more. And then all of a sudden we realized we went down a very, just like not a great road. But that, I guess that does rank up there. I got equal laughs and equal complaints on that one.
We do get our fair share of both.
Yeah, we do.
The price you pay.
Well, now one of the big...
Oils up the entire fleet during the fleet week. Now, you know what?
Jeremy, stop listening. Okay?
Oh, my.
You're out.
But
Oh, boy.
well, let's talk about that, though, because nowadays, viral videos, the big thing, during your New Year's Eve party on NBC. Something else I'm not invited to, I should point out. You talk about viral videos, and a biggie is news bloopers, so we've all had our embarrassing on-air moments. Have to know what each of yours is.
Mine always involves, asking a guest, how is their so-and-so, their loved one, their mother or their friend or their brother or somebody that I haven't seen in years. And the person looks at me and goes, they're dead. And it's the worst feeling because you're trying to be kind and gracious. You only ask something like that out of sincere interest, Right. And then you realize it and you just kind of go, so I've stopped asking. I feel so badly now.
Yes, well, we can't ask about people's mothers and fathers.
No.
You never know.
No,
and I think also we just have something every day. I think what happens is we don't know because today we're going to have one that will top yesterday's.
That's right.
It just happens every day, and then after a while they stop standing out because there are so many, Jeremy.
Oh, I know. Yes.
Because it's commonplace.
Yes.
Well, you know what happened to me? We were covering the America's Got Talent finale. It was in Los Angeles a few years ago, and I was talking with the winner, and he was there with a woman, and I kept talking about, on your family support, we're seeing them in the audience. What's going through your mind as the camera is showing you, and then them, and then you, and then your mom, and then I gestured to the woman, and she said, well, actually, I'm his wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, you win. That's awful.
Not good.
Did she take it with some joy?
Essentially what I did was I just said, your loved ones. I didn't point to her, but I just sort of motioned in that direction because as I was gesturing, I said, to you, meaning to him, and then her standing beside him. So I kind of covered, but yeah, it was a bit awkward.
You know what? You remember it, but I bet she's long gone forgotten it.
Oh, probably.
Unless it happens every day, and in that case, there are things you can do.
Well, exactly.
A veritable plethora of things you can do these days.
That's right. And you guys did a Benny and the Jets video, which looked like a whole lot of fun.
And that was all Matt's idea.
Yeah, he wanted to do it. He picked the song, and we went. And then we kind of, when we got there, you never know how these things are going to go. It ended up being a blast. It was one of those things that you walk in thinking, you're not sure how it's going to go. But once everyone got in the costume, you started feeling like you were from that era. Didn't you?
I would have liked having long, dark hair. You had to be like Rita Coolidge.
I've never had long hair before. My hair grows out. And when I say out, I mean out.
Sideways. Oh, there's that laughter again. This is great. Going great, Hoda. Hey, you know what, Jeremy? We got a show to do, hon.
I know.
Gotta go enter America.
Well, I know, and it's been great chatting with you ladies. Thank you so much. You can catch Kathie Lee Gifford and Hoda Kotb in the final hour of the Today Show, weekdays on NBC. They do save the best for last, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And we'll expect Ernie to come see us next week.
Of
Come
course.
here, boy. Come here, boy,
Oh,
Ernie. Good boy.
All right, thanks, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today's best music with Jeremy Bradley.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's right, Larson. We are on the Twitter at The Scribble Show. You know, food delivery has been around for a very long time, right? It started out, basically it was pizza, and then I guess it was Chinese food, and really now it's almost anything that you can imagine, thanks to different companies. I can't even think of all of the names. There's so many, and I don't want to endorse them, but Skip the Dishes is the one that comes to mind, because that's what I used. So when we were in Houston, Texas, the other month, I was craving pizza for some reason, and the hotel... the restaurant was closed, and the hotel was sort of not in the middle of nowhere, but it just wasn't close to anything decent. So I was told, why not try one of those places that you can just pick up, the list of all the restaurants in the area, order the food, and then just have it, driven by an Uber guy and have it brought to you. So I ordered pizza that way, and it was good. It was fast. And I'm wondering if it's actually faster doing it that way than the actual delivery of the pizza restaurant employee, because they will sometimes take 3 or 4 orders at one time, and, you don't get your food for, over an hour. So yesterday, I decided to order Wendy's. I was craving Wendy's, and the schedule was crazy. I couldn't leave. I should have sent out my assistant to get it, but we were all very busy, and I just said, if nobody else wants, I'm just going to order. Now, I have a BlackBerry, so we don't have very many apps on a BlackBerry, and I've never been able to order food that way. Unless I go through a restaurant's website, and it just doesn't load properly on a BlackBerry anyway. So I went onto the computer and I ordered it that way. And I was just surprised that you can see, where the driver is, that the order is confirmed, the driver's on the way. So it was actually like Uber. And that was also the first time that I used Uber, was when we were in Texas as well. Because, again, there's no app for BlackBerry. And so, but it's just cool that you can see, okay, and then they text you that, your food's almost there, get by the door. So that's when I sent my assistant up. But, it was quite interesting how fast it was to get Wendy's. And the bitch of it was, you've got the $4 delivery fee, and then it asks you if you want to tip the driver. So, depending on what the service is, I was looking the frequently asked questions on some of them, then that $4 delivery charge sometimes always goes to the driver. So, if we're talking cheapskate stuff here. So, I tipped $2 on top of that. So, basically, I paid a guy $6 to bring me moderately warm Wendy's food. I don't know. But it's the convenience of it, right? We couldn't go anywhere. I just had to stay there, quickly hammer it onto the keyboard on the computer, and there you go. Boom, your food is there. Magic. It's magic. Technology is a great thing. So again, we are on Twitter, and you can check out the show's website at thescribbleshow.com. You can subscribe on SoundCloud and iTunes. Live tweeting the Grammys Sunday night at Jeremy D. Bradley, Jeremy, the letter D, Bradley, Bradley. Then Monday night, the finale of Celebrity Apprentice and also Bachelor. So I hope you'll follow along 2 nights in a row of live tweeting. It's going to be crazy. I'll talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,